This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by former world champion, Showtime Shawn Porter here in Las Vegas. Shawn, always a pleasure, always good to see you.
Yes, sir.
How's life treating you?
Oh, 3 rounds of boxing. That's about it.
All right, we'll try and keep. Shawn, just before we come on to this weekend, I saw yourself and Errol Spence chatting away over there. What's it like? You share a ring with somebody, you go 12 tough rounds like that, but you can see there's a great chemistry there, a great level of respect. What's that like?
The interesting thing about Errol is we didn't come up through the amateurs together. So it's our dynamic, our relationship, our friendship is a little more different from the other guys that I competed against. Most of the guys that I competed against, like Keith and I, like we'll get together, we'll hang out all day and all night. Even Adrian Browner and I, we have a relatively solid friendship and things of that nature. With he and I, with us being opponents, he having more of a friendship relationship with my dad than he did with me. It's like, post-retirement, and I still have to do commentary and things of that nature. I may say something that you don't agree with from time to time.
Does he pull you up on stuff like that if you say something which he's not a fan of?
I've gotten a little bit of everything from him, which I'm good with. Like, I'm good with whatever you say, Of course, I want more positive than negative, but I've gotten a little bit of everything from him, which I'm good with. At least he's consistent in that frame of mind. But my boy, as we started the show, he said, he pointed to me and said, Mr. Hater right here, like that's all I do is hate on Errol, and Errol kind of co-signed that, but by the end of it, it was good. But I think the thing for Errol, he knows that I do this, so he kind of it's more so like I could be wrong, but I think it was like we kind of bounced between analyst, fighter, and then a little bit of fighter, so I think he gave me that respect as an analyst, and I think that really helped things flow as well.
Away from all things between yourself and Mr. Errol Spence Jr., the reason we're back, another huge card on Saturday night. Start off with Gervonta Tank Davis. Is he, in your opinion, boxing's biggest superstar?
He's one of, man. I've never been crazy about there being one big major superstar in boxing. I feel like there's a number of great athletes that could hold that candle if given the opportunity. I think if anything, he's just the guy at this point in time that holds that candle. And we got to call a spade a spade. I think he's done enough to earn it himself now, but coming out of the blocks, a lot of that was because of Mr. Floyd Mayweather. So, but man, at this point in his career, he's definitely holding it himself.
What do you expect to see from this Frank Martin fight, Shawn?
I think Frank is going to challenge Tank. I think Tank is going to come out looking comfortable, doing what he does, and I think after a couple of rounds, we're going to start to see him pick up his pace and change some things. I wouldn't even be surprised if he comes out in the first round a little faster than we usually see him. But I expect expect Frank to be very, very athletic, very fast, very sharp, very in and out quickly. And I expect this fight to go a lot of rounds, and I expect a lot of those rounds to be close and competitive.
Tank and Calvin Ford have both stayed away from kind of ranking where Frank Martin would be on Gervonta's CV so far. Where would you rank Frank Martin on Gervonta's CV?
In terms of the level of opponent or whatever the case may be, I think Frank is definitely the most athletically and gifted fighter that Tank will have fought to this date. I don't know of anyone else. I could be wrong, but I feel like this is definitely the most athletic and talented, and probably best prepared too. You got Derrick James. You got down there in Dallas, how they do things. They work hard, and they work very methodically as well. So overall, I would say this might be his best opponent to date. Another one, Leo Santa Cruz. I know a lot of people, he was coming up from 130 and, all these other things. But, I would like to think that Leo definitely one of the best opponents that Tank has been in the ring with, too.
If Gervonta's successful, there's a number of fights people would love to see. Lomachenko, Shakur, back up to 140, maybe Pitbull again, Sabrina Matias, who fights on Saturday as well. Which fight stands out for you? Which fights would you most like to see next for Gervonta?
I think an interesting fight is Loma and Tank. I think to me the best fight to be made right now, stylistically, Tank and Shakur. Um, I, and respect everything that Frank is all about, but Shakur has, that it factor. I think if Frank has the it factor, we're gonna find out on fight night. I don't think that I can say, well, he's got the it factor. He has some its, but not that big thing. I think Shakur definitely has that it factor, and obviously we know what Loma's done.
How could you imagine a Shakur fight playing out? The reason I ask that is because obviously Shakur, he's had his critics for kind of the way that he fights. His style is a bit more back foot, not an aggressive style. And Gervonta's got a low output, but he's very precise, accurate, and he finds a way to find that killer shot. Would it be a case of cat and mouse if those two were to fight?
Yeah, that fight is slow for probably about 4 or 5 rounds, then it picks up. I can see this one being a little slow, even though I got a feeling Tank is going to start a little faster than he usually does. But I wouldn't be surprised if this one's slow for a little 4 or 5 rounds. I definitely think Shakur and Tank will be slow for maybe 4 or 5 rounds, and then it'll start to heat up.
One other man I want to touch on, because I saw you raise your eyebrows when I mentioned him, is Subriel Matias.
Oh, yeah.
Not a lot of people mention Matias and Tank. Be a very entertaining fight to watch. What would you make of a Tank and Matias fight?
Subriel is a dangerous fight for anybody. Works at his own pace, extremely durable, extremely powerful, and one of those fighters that knows that they're strong and believes wholeheartedly in it more than anything. Like Tank, for instance, he believes in his power, but he's willing to do other things to set up his power. Subriel is just gonna power. But the reason why I think that that's a dangerous fight is because he's so durable, and he believes that he can't be hurt. And when you're fighting against that kind of mentality, along with that kind of true power and size at 140, that's a different kind of beast.
Let's go up to light heavyweight, Shawn. David Benavidez, Alexander Gvozdyk. If Gvozdyk can show he still has what we saw against Beterbiev, that's a very difficult fight and a very difficult night's work ahead for David Benavidez. What are you expecting on Saturday from him?
Yeah, the fact that Gvozdyk is 37 and has been out of the ring as much as he has, we know about the 3 comeback fights or fights that he's had in this last year. It's just a little hard to believe he's that same guy. That being said, though, you can't take away from him who he is and what he's been able to do to this point. Again, at 175, you're getting a durable fighter. You're getting a strong fighter. You're getting a fighter with an Eastern European style that, has the tendency to give American fighters headaches, So expect this one to be competitive.
Why do you think we haven't seen a Canelo-Benavidez fight?
Say again?
Why do you think we haven't seen a Canelo-Benavidez fight?
Because Canelo hasn't called that number. I don't think Canelo ever will.
Do you think he just doesn't want it because of a risk involved?
Absolutely. Yeah, we all know what it is. I don't fault him for it. He got where he got, beating everybody, fighting everybody that he fought. I don't know if other people feel like this. I know a lot of people don't. People say, we just want to see it. We want to see you fight. That's all. We don't care if you win. We don't care if y'all lying. As soon as Canelo get dropped, as soon as Canelo lose, y'all gonna be all over him. But everything that he's done, to me, he doesn't need this fight to be a Hall of Famer. Respectfully, and I want to see the fight. I want this fight for David. I think David is a Canelo fight away from being a superstar in this sport. So for that reason alone, I want him to get it.
Shawn, take me back a matter of 3, maybe 4 weeks. Your old amateur foe.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Usyk,
Alexander
right?
Usyk overcoming Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
What did you make of what was an unbelievable fight?
Man, just amazing. He's simply amazing. Had him winning the first, I think, 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Then I had him losing like the next, 4 or 5 rounds. He gets the knockdown. I think that was the ninth round.
Yeah.
He got the knockdown, and then things just swayed, just changed after that, man. It was amazing. The other side of that, though, Fury has been in he's got some mileage on him, So that, I think, if you take away 3 Deontay Wilder fights, I don't think that knockdown happens, and I don't think that outcome is the way it is what it was, But that's what boxing does. Boxing grows you up. it matures you, and it ages you, you know, and you never know when it's going to happen. No excuses. Usyk did his thing, you know, but, you know, Tyson Fury, we could see at that point his punch resistance was low. Look at my fight with Terrence Crawford. I got dropped in the 10th round. With Errol, I got dropped in the 11th round. And then with Keith, I didn't get dropped at all, you know, but we saw in those 3 fights, we saw some big, major punches being landed, you know. So, you know, when you look at me getting dropped in the 10th to Terrence, you can say, well, hey, you got dropped in the 11th against Errol, big punch right there, and then a number of big punches throughout my career against other people, headbutts, let's go. It's a part of the game.
But with the fight itself, when you got to maybe the 6th, 7th round, you said obviously you saw kind of Tyson having success there. For a lot of people, it seemed like the tide was firmly in his favour. What would you put down Alexander?
I called it, man.
Yeah.
Go back and take a look at my Twitter. I was doing it round by round on Twitter. I said, I don't know what Usyk can do to turn his punch around. And then I said, he needs to go back to that overhand left. We haven't seen that punch. In that same round, he threw that overhand left and landed. I said, well, goddamn, I know my shit.
Obviously, there's a rematch at the back end of the year.
Yeah.
Given what you've said there as well in terms of Tyson's punch resistance, the tough fights he's had, another one there with Usyk, are you more inclined to think it'll be more of a dominant performance from Usyk in a rematch?
No, I think the rematch could possibly go the same way. I think that some of the things that Tyson just didn't have control early in the fight, and then he eventually got control, and then that moment happened. That moment doesn't happen, the outcome is a little bit different, you know. So a lot like, again, with me with Errol, with me, and even you can say Terrence, you can even say with Keith, and, you know, a couple of other fights out there. You know, I'm one punch away from winning the fight. I think Tyson was one punch away from winning this fight, and we'll see what happens in the rematch.
Just a couple of fights I want to quickly get your thoughts on, Shawn, because I think we're going into the 4th round now.
Come on now.
Terence Crawford, Israel Madrimov is a fantastic fight.
Yeah.
How difficult of a proposition is this for Terence? How do you envisage the fight going?
Difficult. Terrence does what I love, which is he works hard and he keeps young people around him to keep him young, to keep him hungry, to keep him active. I love that about him. I think that's a part of the secret to his success. But Madrimov, unlike me, he's going to do what he does and nothing less. He's going to come after Terrence. He's going to make it a hard fight. Again, another durable fighter, tough fight for him.
That's on a card which is promoted by those out in Saudi Arabia. What have you made of the reports that we might get to see somewhat of a boxing league with all of the...
Nothing I want to comment on right now, man. It ain't done yet.
Do you think something like that could happen?
We'll see.
Okay, going back to fights on the horizon. Beterbiev, Bivol, new date?
Need to make it happen, man. Bivol, I think, wins that fight. I think he's got...
Did you think that before?
Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah, I think that he's just got youth on his side. And, you know, Beterbiev has been a Mack truck running into other smaller trucks, other big trucks, and those kind of collisions, they will catch up to you at some point. You know, I talked about it with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. We just talked about the mileage. The mileage that Bivol has is just different from the mileage that Beterbiev has. So I think Bivol wins. We'll see. And just Bivol can't be touched. So, but is Beterbiev fascinating? We'll see.
Final one. Reports of a potential Anthony Joshua-Dubois bout at Wembley. Just your take on that.
I love it, man. I love to see both of these guys kind of have a resurgence to their careers. Joshua has just been simply lights out recently. Dubois has been able to just figure it out, which I love. I love to see him doing what he's doing right now. Love to see that fight next.
Who would you pick?
I would pick Joshua. But, you know, I think Dubois would have to take a page out of Usyk's book. Be fast, be in, be out. Don't get touched.
Shawn, it's a pleasure as always. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You got it,
Thanks for speaking to me. Thanks for giving me 5 rounds.
Yeah, you got it.